Hello, welcome to Clockwise, produced by Netizens ICT. Now, do not forget that we discuss technology, lifestyle, and career. My name is Providence Essen, and I'm your host. Today, we'll be having a very interesting conversation. We're talking about the Tesla bot, the robot. Now, on the 14th of October in 2024, the Tesla group had a particular event called We Robot, where the first humanoid robot was actually displayed. Now, there are many controversies around the humanoid robot. And today I have a very interesting guest. I'll be doing a very interesting conversation. But before then, you meet my guest after this time out. Now, my guest is a cybersecurity professional, but very key interest in robotics. Now, without further ado, with a resounding virtual round of applause, please welcome Mr. Yenekone. Please welcome again to Clockwise.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
I have one vision. I want a day where I'll sit back with the robot and we'll do podcast together.
And that is going to happen very soon.
When?
Very soon.
Now, let's talk about the Optimus robot. Now, my problem is, first, there have been robots before.
Yes.
Different companies, different design. In fact, China made different kind of robots that are actually working in the factory. What is this significant difference? What is this uniqueness of the Optimus robot?
Okay, like you gave in the introduction, Optimus robot is a humanoid robot. So if you go to Tesla gigafactories, you go to auto factories of automakers, you have most of the activities or the processes there are not done by humans. They actually, you have robotic arms that fix those cars and do some of those things. That's why you have that high level of precision. However, that's at an industrial level. We can better interact with robots that take the form of humans. So like if you saw the humanoid robot, that is the Optimus, it is designed just like a human. It could literally do anything you can think of a human, anything you think a human can do. It could actually, I mean, if you saw the video, it was literally serving guests drinks.
It was actually interacting.
It was literally dancing to a music. So that tells you, that actually shows some element of human in the robot. And so people are more drawn to things. Human beings are more drawn to elements or things that look like them. That's why you see, you see people that go to, if you see sometimes you see monkeys are being given clothes to wear and all those things, because that's the closest to human beings. So, but for us, Optimus robots represent something that is very close to human beings. So you're looking at, like you just mentioned, you talk to a robot. Actually, you're actually talking to a robot. Whenever you use ChatGPT, you're actually speaking to a robot.
Okay.
You know that ChatGPT now can actually hear, can actually see.
Speak back also.
Can also speak back too. Can literally translate, really. So, that means you're already speaking to a robot, you're already interacting with a robot. But ChatGPT is not humanoid. That's the difference. It's not like a human. It's what we call a chat-based robot. We call it chatbot in for short. So humanoid Optimus actually takes it a notch higher by making it in form of a human. So you are having a robot that can literally walk your dog. Your dog can literally do your dishes. Can literally do what humans can do. Robot that can literally save food. So you're looking at, in the next couple of years or so, you walk into a restaurant and a robot is saving.
Now there are many reservations to this particular, especially Optimus. People say now, how can you guarantee the safety between this robot and humans, the real human? How would they identify now this is a human being?
Of course, that's I don't know, let me not say unfounded, but it's very obvious that this is a robot. But I think instead of dwelling so much on the controversies or dwelling so much on the misgivings for some people, I think we should rather look at the fact that this will complement human effort. I said the other time when I was on your show that we had, when tractors came in, people lost their minds. Farmers literally lost their minds because they believed that tractors will signal the end of farming. as they knew it. And so people were using things like crude implements. And then when tractors came in, they said, oh, tractors can do what 1,000 farmers can do. What would it would take 1,000 farmers a month to do, a tractor can do in 1 or 2 days. Now, for them, it was such a disruptor. But those people that those farmers that learned how to use these tractors to work became millionaires overnight.
You still establish that fact.
Yes, yeah. So you realize that we should be thinking about how it complements human beings, not about how human beings should not fear a humanoid robot.
No. Now we have to have we need reservations. People have to actually air their own fears, because if Elon Musk was actually saying that by 2025 they're going to have more than 10,000 robots to work in a Tesla company, you're talking about laying 10,000 people out of Tesla. So how do you juxtapose you actually having robots and actually you are creating a huge gap in the unemployment?
I hope you will give me some time. Let me talk about something. Incidentally, Elon Musk has been, and Vivek Ramaswamy has been appointed by President Donald Trump, or the incoming President Donald Trump, to lead what we call the Department of Government Efficiency. Let me Twitter, former Twitter, which is now X. He took over the company and sacked 80% of the staff. I want to let you know that even with that, X is still working even better today. That tells you about efficiency. So I am big on efficiency. Rather than us learning, think about it. We are going to talk about, in the course of this conversation, we're going to talk about the Robotaxis. Jobs like driving is it's a repetitive job. It's mundane.
But they actually put food on people's
No, we are going there. These are mundane jobs. These are not jobs that task your brain, your thinking capacity the way it should. Those are not the kind of jobs. So I'm thinking, rather than talking about the job losses, we should be thinking about the jobs that will be created. Let me tell you something. Those robots that will take over, do you realize that someone is going to have to program them to work? Do you also realize that those robots cannot be fully, when I mean fully autonomous, is they need people to start them up. They need people, if it has some bugs, people need to debug them. So I'm thinking we are moving from a mundane kind of engagement of labor to a more tactical kind of engagement of labor.
No, but what you're trying to say is that AI is actually creating fewer jobs and taking away more jobs.
No, you can't say that.
We can't have 10,000 programmers in the company.
No.
Have 10,000 programmers.
That's not true. So here is the deal. You can't say you don't have the numbers.
No,
you don't have the numbers to come up with that particular. You just made a statement now which you don't have numbers.
From what we are saying, we said Elon Musk said he's going to lay off 10,000, almost 10,000 people because he's creating 10,000 new robots. Now you're saying that those robots will have programmers, you have fewer jobs and more people are leaving. Okay,
here is the deal. So there's a reason why I talked about Department of Government Efficiency and I talked about what happened at X. The reality is that things are over-bloated. The best performing economies are economies that appreciate enterprise. You have a government system that is over-bloated. You need to shut down. You have a business that is over-bloated. You need to shut down. The reality is that there is a lot of wastage both in the public and private space. And you have people that really don't put in the work. They just show up and get salaries. And you know what will happen? These robots will show that very clearly. The encouragement is just like farmers were encouraged when the tractors came in. Learn how to operate the tractors. Don't try to be the tractor. The age where human beings had to rely on we call brawn, on their muscles to earn a living is about to be taken away. So human beings are not beasts of burden. You have cattle, bulls that were used in tempers and in some places, some communities still being used. Bulls use their energy to do what? To plow the land. We've gone beyond that level. Human beings are not supposed to be doing menial, let me call it menial jobs, like jobs that task their strength, their physical strength. Rather, human beings are intelligent animals. So we should be doing more things that are intelligent, that task our minds and not our muscles.
Do you really believe that AI actually tasks our mind?
So AI needs to be programmed.
By
AI, no, let's leave the. No, I know where you are going to. It needs to be programmed. Now let me give you some numbers. When human beings begin to embrace robots, productivity will increase, and so the way we think about labor will change dramatically. I mean, if you look at in some companies now, they are now hiring roles, prompt engineering roles. They're hiring many people to do prompt engineering, and beyond that, you are now making systems more efficient. Meaning that, let's say we have a budget of, let me give you some number, a typical example. So you see, at the end of the day, we have a net positive. Let's say we have a budget of $100,000 for staff for let's say a month, and then we get, because of the embracing robots, we are able to trim it down to, let's say, $30,000. What you don't see is that the rest $70,000 can be used to do what? To expand the business and hire people into more tactical roles than doing mundane jobs. That is why you will agree with me that the productivity in terms of agriculture during in this time and period compared to is way larger, way larger than the productivity, agricultural productivity in the times before the invention of the tractor or the advent of the tractors.
All right.
So I'm considering the fact that it allows more technical and more rewarding rules. Remember, someone working in the factory, in Tesla factory, could be earning like $60,000 a year. But someone that is working at programming robots, we'll be talking about something around $160,000 a year. So what you now have is more technical jobs, more specialized roles. People handle more specialized roles, and then that compensates even more than staying around, being stuck around the low-end roles that actually pay little. That's why you have the first world countries and the third world countries. Look at what China is doing. China is moving out of those very mundane rules. They're not doing it anymore. They are now leaving those rules for countries in Africa, countries in some other parts of Asia, where poverty is a very big issue. They are moving to a higher level with a mid-level, what we call mid-level and high-end rules. That's what they're moving to. And that's why you see the economy is also appreciating. Look at their GDP. Look at their GDP per capita. It's increasing accordingly. So I think it is out of ignorance for people to say, oh, let's push back, against the innovation of robots because we believe it will take our jobs. No, you should be thinking about doing more tactical jobs than doing jobs that need your
away
energy.
From the robot, on that particular fateful day, we also had the Robotaxi and the robot truck was also displayed.
Yes.
Now, I find something very, very, very strange about the Robotaxi. I believe that it will not actually be able to, it will not work effectively in third world countries.
Okay.
Because the challenges are enormous.
Okay. So
we're talking about road network, we're talking about Google, what they call it?
GPS systems.
We're talking about several challenges. So how do you think such thing will be able to actually be used effectively in Africa?
Okay, so here is the deal. So the robotaxis actually work with a lot of things. There is what we call LiDAR, light detection and ranging. So it uses both. LiDAR means it uses light to gauge distance. I mean, a robotaxi has to know the distance between itself and the next vehicle. It has to be able to read. Then it also has cameras.
Can it work in Nigeria?
Can it work in Nigeria? Is because how many roads do you have around here that have even that? So here is the deal. We should not. I don't think we should say, because it cannot work in Nigeria, that means it should be a wake up call. I mean, take for example, electric cars. Electric cars have been in the Western world for a number of years now. But in Nigeria, you can't operate an electric car because, number one, you look at a charging station. Number two, you look at reliable electricity. So it is something that if we develop our own, not just economy but infrastructure, in terms of providing road signs, because the robot, like I told you, uses camera. Those cameras actually pick. They pick not just the distance between one car and the other, sensor, but they also pick road signs, traffic signs. If there's a bend, it knows that there's a bend. So how does it do that? It actually picks a picture it uses its cameras to pick a picture to take a picture of the roads, of the traffic sign, and then process it internally and take a decision based on that. Now, so we need to have that, and apart from that, we need to have reliable road network, or a very robust road network, because if you look at something around robotaxis, most of these roads, especially in the Western world, are properly mapped. It uses Google Map actually, so to be able to tell how to get to a particular place. I mean, even in Nigeria today, if you use Google Map, you can almost never get to your destination. You have a hard time. Sometimes you need to rely on your knowledge of the road to be able to get to where you need to. But things like the robotaxis, they rely heavily on this. So there are a lot of things that we need to do as a country to be able to innovate, to be able to have these technologies coming. First of all, most of those vehicles are electric vehicles. So being electric vehicles means that you have to have charging stations. Spread just like your filling station.
Now hold on.
Charging stations should be available.
Your take? I want to know your personal conviction, your personal take on the robot taxi.
My personal take is that it's the best thing since sliced bread. Like I told you when we started or earlier on, I don't believe that human beings should be driving. I mean, you are a human being, and you go where I want you to go. As in, you go where someone else is going. That's a terrible use of time. That's a terrible use of time. So human beings should, I mean, something as repetitive and mundane, efficiency and productivity gains you record from them. That's for Optimus. Now let's look at the robotaxis. In the case of the robotaxis, as a matter of fact, Elon Musk said that if you buy a Tesla with a robotaxi, and then you can literally use it for Uber, and you pay back the car, the cost of the car. It can do its mortgage, as in service its mortgage, and then you own the car without doing a single thing, without having to pay from your own pocket. So that is a disruptive positioning for any business at all. That I just need to go, maybe make a down payment, pick the vehicle, put it on the road, and the vehicle will do what? Pay for itself. Meaning I can still use the vehicle when I want to use it, but if I put it on the road, it can pay for itself. So that's a very strong encouragement for people to even want to have that vehicle. So you see, from all fronts, you have a lot of productivity, a lot of efficiency. So for me, I am very, like I told you earlier, I'm very big on efficiency. If I have something that will cut wastage, then I will always go for it. So the robot, both the humanoid robot, that's the Optimus, and the robotaxis are things that I believe will make, to be honest with you, Elon Musk is going to be the first person to cross $1 trillion.
Now, people believe that on that day of the We Robot show, those humanoid robots was actually controlled by humans.
Of course, those conjectures are there, but let's look at it this way. Even if it were controlled by robots, or by humans. The exhibition was actually to show you guys a demo. There's something we call a demo day. People don't understand what we call a demo. Demo day is for you to show us, let us have a graphic understanding of how the capabilities of this. So maybe like people say the Optimus was dancing, was saying that there was someone. That actually, whether there was someone behind or there was nobody behind, it actually shows you the capacity, the capability of these robots. I mean, the day that Elon Musk launched or presented the Cybertruck for the first time, guess what happened? He used a sledgehammer, hit on the glass, and what happened? It literally shattered. But that day, that very day, Elon Musk had, or Tesla had thousands of pre-orders. That same day. You know why? Because they knew it's Elon Musk, he will fix it. So the idea here, if you understand from the point of argument, is that the Optimus robot and it presents what you hope to have in a humanoid robot, the capabilities of a humanoid robot, and makes people to understand that there's something big that is coming. Okay. So I think that is the angle we should be looking at, rather than dwelling on controversies around whether human beings are controlled or not.
There have been robots before. China has produced different robots. If you go to their factories, you will see robots that are working. Now, what makes Optimus special? Is it because it's Elon Musk?
No, it's not because it's Elon Musk.
Because the way everybody want to invest in it.
It's not because it's Elon Musk. It's because it is a paradigm shift. Look at what happened when ChatGPT came out to the scene. 100 million users in the shortest possible time. Now, human beings are very fascinated about things that could actually save them time. Time is the only resource that is absolutely limited. You only have 24 hours in a day. So, yes, China has this, but humanoid robots are the closest to human beings a robot could get. And this is a robot that, like I said, can walk your dog. It can do the dishes. We have
seen recent robot where this robot actually express emotions.
Yes, I mean, if you look at even Optimus when it was presented, you saw when the music changed, it changed its dance step too. It changed to a very sober mood. So it has that capability. I mean, we saw what happened when ChatGPT had the capacity. You know, GPT-4o, no, this is not about ChatGPT, but of course, both of them are robots. Yeah, and AI-powered robots. So you now realize that now you can tell ChatGPT, please tell me a story about so and so. Then, while it is even saying it, you can tell ChatGPT-4o, I don't think this is as emotional as it could get. Please make it more emotional. ChatGPT will listen, understand, and make the story even more emotional. It relates to human beings. There's one aspect of robots that people never believed. People will always tell you, there are some jobs that robots can take because these are emotional roles. It's a social role. It's something robots cannot babysit. Babysit is maybe, but there are some other things that robots cannot do that needs an emotional content to it. Humanoid robots like Optimus just proved you wrong. So they can have this capacity to display that emotion. These robots, ChatGPT and the other, you have others, Perplexity and all those things. These guys have been trained with insane amount of data sets that allow them to express. There is something we call training.
Would you further allow you to actually train the robots?
Yeah, definitely. Robots work best. There are two ways to it. First of all, you have what we call training, and then you have what we call inferencing. So during the training phase, tons and tons and tons of human data is fed to the robot. It's used to train the robot on how human beings behave. And then after that, you have the inferencing phase where the robots begin to make use or take decisions based off of what it was trained. I'll give you an example. Recently, earlier this year, we had ChatGPT take a professional medical exams. And ChatGPT outperformed every other student there. Because think about it. if you are a doctor and I come to consult you, you're going to tell me based on what you have learned, which is ridiculously limited. But ChatGPT, for example, has been trained with an insane amount of data. So it will pull from a huge amount of data to advise me. That's why you see people are building a lot of robots that can actually serve as your personal doctor. So you are going to have not just like the Optimus, you're going to have personal doctors that are robots, personal chef, a lot of things that are personalized. I mean, for a lot of people, I mean, they don't like things that are public. You can have a personalized chef, you can have a personalized doctor, you can have a personalized companion. I mean, someone to take care of your child.
If there is a robot that's a lady, will you be able to marry the person?
That's taking it to the extreme. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of things that it goes beyond. I mean, there are a lot of things that humans. I mean,
you're buying your wife for $30,000.
No, so here is the deal. Why wouldn't the robot also buy a human being for similar amount? So of course that is taking it to the extreme. But the point for me is that you are going to have a lot of roles. A lot of the very mundane roles taken over by robots. So imagine you having, you come to your house. I mean, life is going to be ridiculously simpler. There are some of the things that we do today that you are not supposed to do those things. And the reason is because those things don't deliver value. They don't create value. For example, washing your plates. Does it actually create value? No. But it saves time, which could be used to create value. So that's the reality. So that's the efficiency that comes in. A robot should be able to do that. I mean, walking your dog, does it create value? No. But it saves you time that you can use to create value. So you have a situation where you don't want to have yourself engage in things that don't create value. Rather, you want to do things that actually have intrinsic value in them. And of course, people pay for value. You can't tell somebody you let's say you're a tailor and then you want to sew clothes, and then you tell somebody, I meet you and you're a tailor and I give you some clothes to sew, and then you tell me, sorry, I have not been able to sew the clothes, but the kind of effort I have put into these clothes, you need to pay me. Would you pay? No, I won't pay because I want results. That's the same thing. So you sitting down in your home to sit down hours washing plates, cleaning the house and all those kind of things, those don't deliver value. Nobody will pay you for it. Whereas if you have a robot like Optimus Robot do all of those mundane tasks, you can now save that time to do the main work that actually gets paid, that delivers value to you. So I think that it is good. That's why I said it is going to be the best thing since sliced bread. Optimus Robot is going to change everything we know today around labor. So it will allow people to think about what they can do better. Drivers will be drivers would have to look for something else. People that have been doing cleaners, domestic cleaners, will have to do something else, and that will prompt them to think about gaining better skills that will help them to get paid higher. How much do you pay a domestic staff? How much do you pay them? And do you know, because those roles are available, they get stuck on that role. They're like stuck on a kind of a hamster wheel. Whereas if those roles have been outsourced to robots, they would have to build better roles that compensate better than what they are getting now. So if you look at it in the long term, it's going to have a very tremendous economic value for us as human beings and for organizations and societies. So I want us to leave this conversation around it will take away those mundane jobs. I mean, that's the same thing that the farmers thought the other time, and then some of them that embraced tractors and now became millionaires overnight. So that's what I would think. It also goes, the same thing also goes to even learning.
Now, if from your observation, what will you foresee will be the challenges of these robots, of Optimus robots?
Okay, so the thing is actually about privacy, and it's been a very big issue. It's about privacy. Now, the question is, this robot is actually very intimate with you. Stays in your house, does everything, literally knows everything that you do. So the question is, data security, and of course, I have a background in cybersecurity. So data security, it has a lot of data around you. So safety would be a very big concern, meaning that how are we sure that the company that is producing this is not harvesting this data? I mean, you saw the other day, I'm not going to mention a brand name, but an electrical maker was actually questioned for allegedly exfiltrating customer data. I mean, you are the one that use your electric car. Because you're using the electric car, it knows everywhere you go to. Electric can take, when you're driving into your house, it can take there are cameras there, so it can take a picture of your house. So they have what we call a collection of what we call personally identifiable information in cybersecurity. And there were allegations that this data was being exfiltrated. What I mean by exfiltrated was being sent back to the company, which is not even located in, this conversation happened in the United States. The company that manufactured this car is not located in the United States, and are even being considered as a very big kind of a competitor to the United States. So having this data being sent back to this company is a security risk for the individual Americans. So it could be applied to anywhere. When you have what I can call companion like this, come very close to you, has access to your data, has access to your everything about you, we have to be very sure and certain that the data that this particular robot has collected stays with the robot. Because again, remember, the robot needs to be trained about your activity. So that, for example, the robot knows when you wake up. Imagine a personal assistant that doesn't know when his master wakes up. It can be useful, Abi.
Yes.
So the same thing. These robots have to be. They get trained by your activity. They know when you read. They know when you have to take your coffee, so they go pick it up themselves. They know when you want to take, maybe you want to take a break or a nap or something. They go lay your bed. So those kind of things, they have to know this. But that data. And how do they train themselves? They train by collecting this data. But what is the data security? What is the security level of this data? And how are we sure that the companies, people are already complaining that marketing companies or companies are taking their data and using for marketing and use for marketing purpose. How are we sure that this same thing will not happen with these robots? Because they are going to have insane amount of data about a personality. It's like you said, you talked about wife. So it's going to be almost as close to you as your wife, as in terms of knowing what you do and getting every information about you. We want to be very sure that this data is safe and it's not doesn't get to the wrong hands.
Final note before we actually call it a wrap. The final note.
Okay, my final note would be that we should be expecting this to come in. Elon Musk has said in the next 2 years we'll have a commercial model that will be available that companies can literally buy. I think it's going to help us to improve efficiency remarkably. What we should do as Nigerians, and every other person, is to think about building our skill to understand how to program robots. How to program the robots so that, robots come in, obviously jobs go, but if you have positioned yourself strategically with a skill on how to program these robots, you cannot be out of the market. You cannot, because you will still be relevant to even in the age of robotic revolution. So I think that people should not resist. Rather, they should embrace this new technology and see how they can leverage this technology to their advantage.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks for coming, and we'll meet again. On that note, to come to the end of today's episode of Clockwise. Now, do not forget to like, subscribe, and put on the notification bell on this channel, because every week we bring amazing content. And also, do not forget that the illiterate of the 21st century are not those who did not go to school or those who will not go to school, but are those who have refused to evolve as their environment is evolving. My name is Providence. See you again.